Fresh Takes are presented by Fresh Pet. It's not dog food, it's food. Our professor Matt Ryan here with us once again on a Monday morning. And Matt, let's get those grades handed out. I want to start with the Lions and all those interceptions, but they still win. Where are they landing in the grade book?
Yeah, I feel like I'm the inexperienced teacher right here. I didn't know how to really grade this one. Like, wild game, tale of two halves. But for me, it's a B for the Lions. I think they get the job done. You have all those turnovers, Jared Goff. I really think 3 of those, or whatever. But the Hail Mary before the half and that kind of stuff. But the way they bounce back, that's a scary sign for teams around the league, man. If they play that poorly and can still beat, a good Texans football team, these Lions are for real.
Jared Goff, the first QB to throw 5 interceptions in a game and win since you did it in 2012. Do you remember that? How's that make you feel?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a win, so I'll take it. I think it was, we were against the Cardinals. I threw 5. I feel like all 5 were on me. They were bad. So somehow the rest of our team carried the weight. We got the win, but it's all good, man. We won.
A win is all that matters. Texans, though, the losing side of that, where are they landing?
I give them a B-. I thought the way they came out, I thought they played awesome, like as good as they've looked in weeks in the first half, then disappointing in the second half. But Detroit's a good football team. You take the ball away like they did against them, you play the way that they did. I think when they get Nico Collins back, this team's going to be back to rolling. And so disappointing loss for them, but a B-.
Speaking of disappointment, this was a week that we thought the Jets would maybe get something going if they still had aspirations of getting into the postseason. They did not. What's your grade for them?
It's an F. I think the way they played yesterday, given that basically every game, starting 2 weeks ago was a playoff game for them moving forward. And then to just come out and the inability to move the football on offense, the defense, couldn't stop the Cardinals. Disappointing effort. They failed the assignment. And so, I'm sure there'll be plenty of chatter about that, but it's an F for me.
31 points from the Cardinals. They're now first in their division. What is their grade for them?
Cardinals get an A. I think, I've been looking at them. They're kind of an anomaly to me in terms of none of the stats really jump off the page, offensively, defensively. But there's belief that's been created there the last handful of weeks. And then to go out and just play the way that they did offensively coming out. I thought Kyler played an outstanding game. Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison in the pass game, James Conner in the run game. They're impressing me. I think they're playing at kind of the top end of what they're capable of. So that's a massive credit to Jonathan Gannon and their staff.
Thankfully, we have no sun in here inside the studio, just a bright studio light, so I can see you nice and clear, Matt. The Eagles, Cowboys, where are the Eagles landing?
Eagles for me. Let me find my notes here somewhere. I give the Eagles an A. That's right. I give the Eagles an A. They played really well yesterday, even with the turnovers in the first half, right? I know that's a point of concern. Jalen Hurts, the red zone interception, then the backed up fumble. But their response to it, division game, always difficult in division, to go down there and get the road win, even with the beat up Cowboys team, who I thought played hard and physical in the first half. To get the job done the way that they did, I think they're trending in the right direction. That's an A for me.
Yeah, so because of that, no Dak, Cooper Rush starting. We saw Trey Lance. Where do the Cowboys land?
Another D for Big D, man. It's hard, and I recognize overcoming all of the guys that were out for them is difficult. But just a disappointing effort. Again, I think you get those division games. A lot of times, I feel like you can throw records out, but disappointing effort from the Cowboys.
I would have gave him an F. The way Cooper Rush played, under 50 yards. That's just terrible, Matt. I'm just saying. I just wanted you to say that. That was just trash. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Okay.
Anyway, the Vikings. Let's just say 12 points from them. Not the greatest performance with Darnold with 3 interceptions. The offense wasn't there, but they still get the W. Where they fall for you?
B-. I think it's a tough. I feel like. We talk about all these tough places to play, right? That are these loud, crazy environments. Jacksonville's like the sneaky opposite. It's a tough place to play because sometimes, it's a sleepy environment down there at the 1 o'clock start. And I felt like the Vikings played that way most of the day, but got the job done. stacked another win, and at this point, that's what they're looking for. Sam Darnold needs to be better, though, turning the football over the last couple of weeks.
How about the Jags? 2-8, 7 points on the board. Of course, you didn't have Trevor Lawrence, but you had Mac Jones. What are you giving them?
D for me. I think, the inability to move the football on the offensive side, defense, played pretty good, but they're just disappointing. And so I got not much more than that other than it's a D.
The Steelers and Russell Wilson just look like completely different people nowadays with Russell coming back from injury, and the Steelers get that victory over the Commanders, so Pittsburgh is getting what?
I give them an A. I thought that was a really good performance yesterday. I think, the additions of Mike Williams opposite George Pickens for their vertical passing game, what they like to do with Russell Wilson now the last 3 weeks, I think it's a really good pickup. And given the way that they run the football, you're going to get a lot of that single safety look, and the safety has to cheat one way or the other. And now they have two guys that they feel good about going down there and high pointing the football on those deep throws. So it was good effort. Defense continues to play well. It's a tough Commanders team that they went against. Good win.
Commanders were up by 10, no touchdowns, no interceptions from Jaden Daniels. They're competitive, so where are they?
B+. I think same thing, going against a good football team, playoff caliber football team, and to take them down to the wire. They miss on the fourth down by inches. Then, they have the inexcusable mistake of jumping off sides in that situation at the end of the game. Disappointing in that loss, but I thought both teams, showcased yesterday that they're capable of playing with the very best in the league, and they're capable of making a deep run into the playoffs.
All right, Matt, you sit back for a second, get your red marker out, because we got a second half of grades to get to. But I want to recap for those at home to take a look at what we got through so far from Professor Matty Ice. Let's just say the Jets just fell in the class the whole season. I don't think there's any extra credit out there to get. The Cowboys and Jags, double D action, but the Steelers, Cardinals, and Eagles leading the class with A's must be nice. Matt Ryan still with us to give out those grades. And, Matt, we just saw that game there, Titans and Chargers. But the Titans, their grade for you is what?
I give the Titans a C. I think Will Levis coming back in, obviously missing a handful of weeks. Had a few nice balls down the field. Hopefully maybe something for them to build on. Couldn't get the job done, but I give them a C.
Chargers 6-3. They look good. Herbert looked good as well. What do you give them?
I give them a B+. I think they're quietly playing really good football. Defense gave up more points than usual for them yesterday, kind of late, points, whatever. But defense is solid, running the football pretty well. Justin Herbert playing efficient football. This is kind of an interesting team to watch the next month and a half of the regular season and hopefully beyond for them.
49ers and Bucks playing down here in Florida. Maybe not the prettiest of games, but the 49ers get Christian McCaffrey back. They get a dub. So where are they falling?
I give them a B. I think kind of one of those, weird games for them, traveling from, the West Coast to the East Coast, playing that early game, find a way to get it done. I expect them to get better, as they get rolling. Ricky Pearsall played pretty well for them yesterday, which is a good sign for their receiving core. Solid win, B.
You bring up receivers, of course, the Bucks don't really have many for Baker Mayfield to be able to throw it to, but still they found a way to be in the game, so they get what?
I gave him a B. I give him basically the same grades in this game. What Baker's doing, the competitiveness with which he's playing, keeping them in ball games, basically kind of willing them to stay in ball games the last couple of weeks. Been really, really impressive. They continue to fight. I thought that was a back and forth game. That's a B for me.
Speaking of a back and forth game, we saw that with the Falcons and St. Joe's stomping grounds. The ATL coming up a little short, but what do you give them?
C-. I think going down there, given all that New Orleans had gone through, disappointing, game for them. They missed 3 field goals, which really is the difference in the ball game. And Younghoe Koo's been a good player for a long time. So hopefully he bounces back out of that little slump for the Falcons. But all in all, that's a game they felt like they should have had to not get it done down there, C-.
Darren Rizzi, his first time as the head coach in the interim role there for New Orleans. They get the W, 20-17. What do you give the first-time coach?
I give them the B for the head coach bump, right? Like the first week bump, the midweek bump that or the midseason bump that you get. So B for them. Congrats to the Saints. Good win for them.
Broncos and Chiefs, a game that a lot of people didn't maybe have circled as a potential loss for the Chiefs. They still do win, but the Broncos, I mean, so close. So with that in mind, what are the Broncos?
I give the Broncos an A-. I thought, going in there, division game, really feel like they played well defensively, did a good job of kind of neutralizing the Chiefs' offense. Bo Nix drives them down there at the end of the game, gives them a chance to win. They fall short. They can't protect on the left side there on the field goal. So all in all, I thought really good performance from the Broncos. Just disappointing that they walk away without the win.
Yeah, so at any point, do the Chiefs get dinged from just the way that they are winning because it's so close, or does the grader not care about that?
No, man. I mean, I think I've said it every week. If you don't lose, you continue to get A's every week. So until they show me any differently, they're going to get A's until they take a loss, which could come this week. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. We're going to be up for the NFL today up in Buffalo for that game. It's going to be a lot of fun, but, they get another A for me.
Speaking of Buffalo, Josh Allen, maybe a little chink in his armor yesterday, 2 interceptions, but he had to use the legs to get it done. What do you give Buffalo?
Yeah, let me find my notes here on the Bills. I think the Bills get a B+ from yesterday. It's, I think the first half, the last couple of weeks, the first half has been a concern for the Bills, right? Like they don't come out specifically in the first quarter, don't come out kind of playing offensively the way that they're capable of. But they took advantage of that game and really midway through the second quarter and kind of dominated from there on. So, good win for them. They're keeping pace with the top of the AFC. That's what they need to do. Like I said, it's going to be a big one up there this weekend.
Kind of a mixed bag for the Colts. Jonathan Taylor goes over 100 yards, but then Flacco throws 3 interceptions, only 20 points in the day. What do you give them?
I give them a C. It probably could be lower, but there are positives. Like, I agree. Jonathan Taylor continues to play great, and they run the football effectively. The inability to throw the football has been the kind of Achilles heel for the Colts the entire season, whether it was Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco for the last couple of weeks. They just have been inconsistent in the passing game. So a C for me for the Colts.
Patriots beat the Bears, so what grade are you giving New England?
Pats, B+. I think Drake May continues to get better. I think they've done a nice job with him. He extends plays. He's throwing well from the pocket. I thought defensively they had a good plan, played a lot of man-to-man coverage, shut down the Chicago Bears, and I thought a good effort from the Pats all around. So B+ for the Patriots.
So only 3 points of offense for Chicago gets you what?
It gets you an F. I look at them and, they had this kind of 3-game stretch in the middle of the season so far where I thought they were improving offensively. I thought Caleb was, and it's been a regression the last couple of weeks. And yesterday specifically, an inability to get into any rhythm in the passing game, 9 sacks, not much of a run game. They seem out of sorts. And, I don't think it can be overstated, the emotional toll that Hail Mary took on them, in Washington. We're seeing the effects, 2 games later. They go out, they have a disappointing effort versus the Cardinals, and then really disappointing effort yesterday versus the Patriots. It's an F for me.
The Giants go to Germany. They come back with the L, but what does that give you for them in that grade?
Yeah, I mean, it's an F as well. I feel like I'm handing out some tough ones in a row, but it's disappointing. I think when you look at the Giants and what they're doing as a whole, going against the Panthers in a game that you feel like, yeah, maybe this is something, get something going, but they just really can't. Disappointing effort from them. They failed the assignment.
And Bryce Young gets his first win away from the home ballpark. What do you give the Panthers?
Well, Zach was telling me off air, he neither won it nor lost it, which I think is a pretty good thing for Bryce Young. They get a C+. You know what? I give them credit. Back-to-back wins. They're fighting. They're doing what they can. Obviously, they have not thrown in the towel. They're going to try and continue to compete. I think a good win for them. C+ for me for the Panthers.
Matt, that's exactly what I like to hear. All I ever get is just a bunch of hate from my left when Brandon's talking about the Panthers because he has no faith in them. But I thank you very much,
It's been
Matt.
bad for years.
Things can always change. Professor Matt Ryan, thank you so much. We'll bring up the grades.
I think you swayed him in that answer.
I didn't sway him into that. I think he gave that grade beforehand because, you see, it's not an F like what the Bears and Giants got. It's also not an A like what the Chiefs got despite just barely eking out a victory. Broncos getting an A- despite the loss, and everyone else just middle of the pack around there. That's how your Week 10 grades in the NFL from Professor Matt Ryan all play out. But remember that this coming weekend, this Sunday, the NFL Today crew, they will not be at the studios in New York City. They'll be out in Buffalo for that big-time showdown between the Chiefs and the Bills. Bring your gloves. It's going to be cold, Matt. Stay warm.